All right, what's going on? Welcome to the show on this fine Friday morning or evening, depending on when you're listening to this. How was the work week? Hope it wasn't too brutal. Hope you made it through it okay. I got a couple things I got to say, and then we're going to start the show. Flyers lost to the Sabres 5-1. Alain Vigneault is a clown. You'll hear me say that several times on the show today. And yeah, I'm going to go watch Godzilla vs. King Kong. I will let you know how it is on Tuesday. Let's start the show. All right, welcome to this episode of Stone Sports. I am Bert. With me, as always, I have my co-host Double. Say what up, Dubs.
What the fuck is up?
And Meech. What up, Meech?
What up?
All right, so I guess we'll just start it off like we always do with some oofs. We got any oofs?
Well, hold on. We got some big news off the top. We're on Apple now.
Oh yeah, we are. Dope.
Go ahead and check us out on Apple Podcast now as well.
Yeah, I'll put it
Yeah,
in
and a
the
bunch of
intro.
other ones. I just went through and selected a ton of the other sites too. So pretty much anywhere you can get podcasts is where available now. Amazon we're working on, but that should be up shortly too. So basically, literally, pretty much anywhere you can download. That was so. Wow, I'm higher than a kite apparently because that was not coherent at all.
No, man,
No, I
it was
got what
totally
you
anywhere
fine.
you can.
We got there.
Yeah, it was
Pretty
fine.
much anywhere you can download podcasts, you can get Stone Sports now. And
Not
then,
about
like I
how
said,
long
we're
the
working
ride
on
takes, about getting to the destination.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. All right, so what's the oof?
The Stone Sports is spreading. Oh, and one more thing I forgot the last show I meant to bring up. R.I.P. Jessica Walter.
Yeah, dude, I meant to
Played
bring it
up.
up last time too, and I totally forgot.
I meant to put it at the end of the show last time, and I completely forgot.
Yeah, what a
Blame
legend.
it on Anja, but R.I.P. Mallory
Yeah.
Archer, Lucille Bluth.
I'm
Arrested
doing the
Development,
wink right
Archer.
now. You can't see it, but I'm doing
The wink. Two of my favorite shows of all time, and without her, the shows would be. I don't know what they would
Yeah,
be. She made
not as
both
good,
shows,
that's for
in my
sure.
opinion. She's phenomenal. Big R.I.P. to her.
it. Resting in
But
I
peace.
if you
think-
haven't watched either show, please do.
I
They're
think the
phenomenal.
headline on some British paper, because they're more blunt, was TV's bitch mom dies or something like that. Because she played that part so well.
Yeah, she did.
She's so great in both of those things. Yeah, I saw
My
that last week
favorite
as well.
lines from Arrested Development is when they're talking about the mom that tried to throw her kids in the lake, and she's like, "Oh, good for her."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so fucking.
I mean, everything she does in that show is fucking funny as hell, dude. She's
It
so
does.
good. She's
Dude,
so
and then
good.
one of the best like lines or scenes ever in Archer is when they're holding each other hostage, and Lana's like, "Well, he's got a boner," and she's like, "You've got the thought of me dead gives you a boner." So great, so great.
The best. She's so good. So one more thing before we get to the oof of the week. We got a three-peat, boys. David Rush is back. Another record broken. The fastest one-handed chessboard setup of all time. It was under 30 seconds. No pieces knocked over.
All right, I'm calling
Said he's
this
been
out.
waiting
That's
for
a
this one for a
useless
while.
record. That's a useless record.
Absolutely useless record.
It's useless. You shouldn't. That
It
like,
just
they
makes
should have just
me
been like,
laugh.
no, that doesn't count.
There's a website I check whenever I do these. Sometimes I use stuff from it, sometimes I don't. But every time David Rush is on there, they're like, Idaho man breaks records. And I'm like, I wonder. And I click the article and it's David Rush every single time. 3 for
Of
3.
course it is. What up, Dave? All right, so what's the oof?
You think the
So the
beat
oof
writer
of the
from
week-
the fucking Idahoan Potato just fucking loves this guy because he gives him content all the time?
Yeah, he's making a
He's like,
paycheck off that guy.
He's got my morning story 14, 15 days out of the year. That's easy money. But the oof of the week, the Chattanooga Lookouts, minor league team for the Cincinnati Reds. They had their mascot costume stolen out of their facility, as well as hundreds of dollars worth of other merch.
Oof.
Big oof.
Big
So
oof.
they tracked it down, and they posted a whole thing about how I forget the name of it, but whatever the name was. The lookout is safe thanks to Chattanooga police and what they say, a vigilant Best Buy worker or something
Oh
like
my
that.
God, that's hilarious. I used to work at Best Buy. It was one of those. I don't know if all retail places are like this, but like if somebody stole something, we weren't allowed to chase them out of the store. Like if they made it out of the store, we had to
Absolutely
just
not.
leave them. Yeah,
I mean, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
because
either,
it's all work
actually.
comp stuff. They don't want you to
Yeah.
get injured or
exactly. Yeah.
Although one time at Office Max, there's these like punk kids that were stealing Sharpies, and
These Daft
like-
Punk kids,
no, they were like just like anyway,
good helmets.
little bastards is what they were. But yeah, so they walked out of the store. I like pulled him down by his hood, and after I did that, he like fell down, and out of his back like pocket area, it was like in his waistband, was like a fillet knife for like fish. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, that wasn't worth it. Luckily my other manager was there, grabbed it, and then they just took off. But I was like, that could have been bad.
That could have been real bad.
real bad. Good Lord.
Give me back that filet of meat.
Hey,
Yeah, pretty much, dude. Those things are sharp as fuck. So.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. I've cut
But yeah, no,
both hands numerous
most
times.
retail does not want you to do it. It's all about prevention as far as
Yeah.
customer service and stuff like that, rather than trying to retrieve stolen goods.
Right. All right. Well, let's get to some sports. I guess we'll start with some baseball. So, what's going on in the world of baseball?
MLB is doing an actual opening day. I think I said the other day they never actually do an opening day. They're doing
Right.
it this year, and it's going to be epic. All 30 teams will play on Thursday, April 1st. The games start at 10 a.m. on the West Coast, and then go till 7:30 p.m. It's the last game that starts, basically.
Yeah.
So all day of baseball, all 30 teams in action, and it should be great.
Hell yeah. It's going to be awesome AF. I got a busy
so I'm
day
happy
tomorrow.
they're actually. Yeah, I'm happy they're actually doing an opening day. Usually they are, they'll release like Thursday night baseball, that's Sunday night baseball,
Right.
and then like leak 4 or 5 games out. You're just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
So it's going to be an
Baseball
epic
day.
opening day.
Can't wait.
Yeah, and should be good. Angels pick up some bullpen relief. Steve Shizik and Tony Watson, both names that I think most fans know. Just kind of those veteran bullpen guys. So they will be headed to the Angels. And then the White Sox signed Jake Lamb. A couple of people cut after the teams had to reduce their roster size. So these are just people that got signed because of that, essentially. They got cut by one team, signed by another. And then Eloy Jimenez injury. The White Sox say it's not as serious as they initially thought. He had surgery Tuesday, but still expected to be out for 4 to 5 months. So still a chunk of time, but I think it was 6 to 8 before that. So they will get him back for part of the season.
I'm going to have to get 2 TVs going because the Mets and the Rangers game basically start at 7. I'm going to have 2 TVs going.
I
This is
got
gonna be
Hulu
interesting.
Live. That's how I watch my TV. So I'll throw one on the TV downstairs, one on the computer, one on my phone.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, that's a good call. I'll just use like the TV and the computer. Rangers are going on TV. Mets are going on the computer. Sorry, Meech.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow. You're not a real fan.
Wow.
Yeah. Give me your Mets fan card back. Speaking
Nah,
of the
man, it's
Mets,
just like it's hard to be,
The
excited.
Chargers would be on the main TV. Let's be real.
No.
yeah, Chargers front and center.
Rangers
But
on the laptop, Mets on the phone.
speaking of the Mets, Francisco Lindor, the Mets' final offer to him was 10 years, $325. We talked about it on last podcast. He has issued a counter to that of 12 years, $385. He is currently 26. That year, that would take him to 38, the
Yeah.
12-year deal. So long-term deal there
Yep.
that Francisco Lindor wants. We'll see what happens there. That Mets offer, the 10 years, $325, was quote unquote their final offer.
Pete
No salary
Alonso.
cap in baseball. So
Pete Alonso thought it was an auction. He bid for 400 for.
oh yeah, he had his contract situation in mind because he said he'd pay him 400. I'm assuming he's going to be up in a year or two for a contract because that's propping up his own value. I feel like
Maybe to talk about it before. It's like you pay him 400, so next year.
Yeah, right.
How do you feel about that offer, Birdie?
I don't know, man. It's a
He doesn't care. He puts the Mets on the laptop.
It's a long deal.
Yeah, you don't give a fuck.
Listen, the Mets are only going on the laptop because it's opening day, and we're wrapping up hockey season here, so it's getting pretty exciting. But we'll get to all that stuff. I don't know, man. Like, I want him on the team. I mean, that's undisputed. I want him on the team, and there's no salary cap. And I would be willing to take that risk. And your owner's a
multi-billionaire.
Yeah, so. I would be willing to take that risk.
Uncle Stevie?
Yeah, Uncle Stevie's, he's got the money. So but at this point, like, it's like he can say all day long that he's going to spend that money, but I just don't trust it. So it's a calculated risk, but it's one that I would be willing to take. And I'd feel all right with that deal. I would. It's a lot of money, but I'm okay with it. I just am. Wow, there's a huge.
It seemed like mixed reviews on Twitter.
Yeah.
In your room?
Yeah, it's like a huge. Do you hear that? It's like mass. I feel like I'm in a fucking echo chamber. I'll see if I can fix that while while one of you is talking. Anyway, any other baseball stuff, Meech?
No, that's it. I just wanted to end on.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was much going on in baseball this evening. How about basketball?
Give it a week.
Yeah, right. Give it a week. How about basketball?
So we got Kevin Durant and Michael Rappaport getting into some beef. So Rappaport and Barstool had a whole falling out. Their lawsuit got settled and a video came out. Durant, it looked like a message to Rappaport before about a bunch of other shit. There's just essentially shit talking and going back and forth with him. And Rappaport posted the DMs from Durant, and after this recent incident with Barstool, Durant was like calling him out for that shit. And basically all that went viral. People were like, oh, this can't actually be KD. Nobody would risk saying shit like that. It's like, that's the most KD thing I've ever seen. KD's always mixing it up in the comments and shit like that. He don't give a fuck. But he came out today and apologized for some of the comments he said, because there were some homophobic slurs, I guess you want to say. Homophobic comments shouldn't have been said.
Mm-hmm.
He slurs, really. I thought that was overblown, honestly. He just said sucking cock or whatever. Like, I didn't think it was that atrocious. Like, it was just the stupid shit like guys talk shit about. Like, I didn't.
Isn't Rappaport the dude? Sorry, Dubs. Isn't Rappaport the dude that got like in trouble in the 90s for like stalking his ex-girlfriend? I'm pretty sure he got in trouble for that. Yes, he did. He did. Lily Taylor. Oh, that's the girl from The Haunting. Do you remember that movie, Meech?
Absolutely not.
Okay, never mind. It's a pretty bad movie from the 90s. You should go watch it. It's entertainingly bad. It's a Lily Taylor, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Hey. Owen Wilson, Liam Neeson. It's a star-studded cast. You should check it out.
Apparently.
It's bad, but you'll laugh.
Yeah, Michael Rappaport was ruffling all kinds of feathers. He had fucking Stool Presidente taking shots at him.
You don't want that.
KD. Yeah, no, you don't.
You do not want that.
And then it's not even just Portnoy. It's his army of followers as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what you don't really want. Like, when you make an enemy out of him, you make an enemy out of a lot of people.
Like,
and pretty much everyone that makes an enemy out of them ends up falling.
Yeah, he posted something about losing a ton of money, like 0-for-8 on bets or whatever, and I posted something like, oh, luckily it all goes back to you. And I had like 3 people reply like, actually, it doesn't work like that. Like, it doesn't, the losses still come out of his bank account. And I was just like, I understand. I understand that he doesn't just have a free whatever.
Yeah.
But, any money he spends on the gambling company, which Yeah, I can't think of right now. Goes right back to him via the stock price inflating, so it's not even that. Like I was just like, he's gonna get that money back eventually. But yeah, they took it all literal. So yeah, but yeah. Anyway, Rappaport had him taking shots and pissed off Durant.
Awesome.
Durant as well.
It was funny seeing the amount of people on Twitter that thought it wasn't actually Durant, like that it was faked or he was hacked or something. But then there was like there was an equal amount of people going, "Are you fucking kidding me? Of course that's Durant. Of course he said shit like that."
Yeah,
this is MO. Next up, we got Kyle Lowry was injured. He's supposed to miss 3 to 5 games, a week or two, with a foot infection, which does not sound good. I just thought that was kind of funny because he was on the trade block. He ends up staying, and then a couple days later, he gets hurt.
Yeah, I mean, he's Mr. Raptor, so it's not like that. I don't know. It's probably just an injury.
Yeah,
foot infection. JJ Redick says Pelicans.
It's stupid. I don't know.
All right, fair enough. JJ Redick says Pelicans front office lied to him when they traded him to Dallas. Report was in the beginning of the year, or I guess not the report. Redick said this himself on his podcast. He said that at the beginning of the year, when the trade rumors surfaced, he asked front office to trade him somewhere up in the Northeast, like Brooklyn or somewhere in that area, because that's where his family is.
He did say not Boston though. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't call out Boston.
I was like, you put him in the goddamn bin with Aaron Gordon then. Don't give a fuck. I was so ready to just throw out my
I bet you were. That was the reaction I was trying to get out of you. Then I was like, I better calm this down.
I missed that. Then my eyes were starting to go red. But so that was the deal. The front office and Redick had worked out. Trade rumors quieted down, and then when they started up again, he was like, "Oh, am I getting traded?" They're like, "Oh no, don't worry about it. You're not going to get traded. No worries." And then they traded him to Dallas, which is even further away from his family than he was. So he was pretty pissed about that.
Only feels so bad for him because once again, he was a free agent. He chose to sign them.
Agreed.
If you choose to sign somewhere, you're choosing to sign somewhere, whether it's because of more money or whatever. You can't then turn around and bitch. I mean, you're on a 1-year deal. Just play out the 4 months, and then next year, maybe think about where you want to sign a free agency. Maybe, Correct. Just maybe.
I had the same take on it.
Yeah, the NBA is just infuriating sometimes. I don't understand.
I can hear it in your voice.
Like, playmakers fought for free agency, and now they have it, and they have all the power. And then they sign contract extensions and then throw fits. And I'm just like, then don't sign the contract extension. Yeah. You're still going to have other teams vying for your services. Like, you're going to have a pick if you're that level.
Yeah. No, I'm just laughing because, like, it's funny. Like you said, like, it's exhausting. And I can hear in your voice that it's exhausting.
It's so bad, dude. The NBA is just a shit show. Dennis Schroeder did reject the Lakers contract extension, 4 years, $84 million. So they are not far. They are far apart at the moment. And guess what? He can become a free agent, sign wherever the fuck he wants in the offseason. Like, Jesus.
I feel like that's kind of good money if you're Dennis Schroeder. I kind of would have taken that.
I mean, he went into this year. Everyone thought he was going to play off the bench. He negotiated to start. He has looked good.
He's a good
in this
player.
System.
Yeah.
And considering what people making in the NBA, I'm guessing he could get more. But it's all about where you want to be.
Yeah, I would rather take that money, like it's still solid,
Lakers.
Right? It'd be a competitor, like that's a solid.
Where like
money.
90% of NBA players live anyways. LA.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know why he wouldn't take that, but I fair to him if he wants to go get more money and just play on somewhere else. Fucking fair to him.
Yeah.
But with LaMelo Ball's injury, let's check out the Rookie of the Year running with the rookie ladder. Tyrese Halliburton of the Sacramento Kings. Beach doesn't recognize them as a franchise, but they got a solid rookie in Halliburton, putting up 13 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. Anthony Edwards is in at number 2, 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists for the number 1 overall pick. James Weissman was in the running with LaMelo Ball. He also has had a couple injury stints and missed some time, so he's fallen out of the rookie ladder too. But number 3 is Emmanuel Quickley with the Knicks. 12 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. This is really a two-man race now between Halliburton and Edwards. I think Halliburton could edge it out. His stats have gotten a lot better the last few weeks. He's playing his best basketball of the season, and it could just be him like adjusting more to the
Well, he's
NBA
also
game.
starting now, and he wasn't to start the season. They have put him in the starting lineup now, and they're actually winning games.
They are.
You know, they like he looks like a starter. They moved him to the starting lineup, so those numbers will go up because he wasn't starting before. He'll get more minutes now.
What will it take for you to recognize them?
Oh, nothing. I don't. I mean, I know
what.
of them because like sometimes I'm too lazy to turn on my Bluetooth if I'm going to like a store that's like right down the street, so I'll listen to like talk radio, and they'll talk about them all the time here. So I
can't picture talk
sometimes.
radio talking about the Sacramento Kings.
It's
don't know why.
it's as bad as you think it would be.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Deep diving on the Kings as a franchise. Oh my god.
Because like Boston Sports Radio, they deep dive every little fucking thing. I just can't picture it with the Kings. I don't know why, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean, and as West Coast like teams get flack, like people still do that with the Dodgers and the Lakers. They break down every move. But yeah, the
98.5 will deep dive their own writers like words when they could just like bring them in the studio and be like, "What do you mean by this?" They'd be like, "Nah, he knows something. He knows something."
I was cracking, dude. Maybe it's just because I live out here, but I was cracking. First of all, the Boston accent is hilarious most of the time, and then it's funny how it's kind of maddening sometimes, but usually I find it hilarious.
Yeah,
how
absolutely.
guys are.
Yeah.
I think I messaged you the other day when we were talking about hockey. I was watching a hockey game and I was like, these Bruins announcers, this guy has the thickest Boston accent I've ever heard, dude.
Yeah, and the other guy is like, he just sounds goofy as shit. He sounds like Mr. Dink
Jack
from
Edwards
Doug.
is the goofiest motherfucker
Like, dude,
out there.
straight
Dude.
sounding like, out of here sounding like Mr. Dink, bro. Like, it's ridiculous. But anyway,
Jack Edwards, high above the ice.
Any other basketball stuff?
Yes, we're gonna run through the MVP race too. It's really a 3-man race at this point. The injuries, same thing with the rookie ladder. The injuries to LeBron and Embiid have slimmed the running down to 3. Jokic, Lillard, and Harden. Jokic is putting up 27, 11, and 8.5 assists as a center, which is fucking ridiculous. He has Denver at 5th in the Western Conference. Damian Lillard, my personal pick, 30 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists. Blazers are 6th in the West. And James Harden with the Nets is really in 3rd place for the running. 26, 11, and 8. The Nets are 2nd in the East. Honorable mention, Giannis.
Yeah, I don't think Harden's gonna get it though. Like no one wants to see that happen after that. Either way, I'll be happy if Dame or the Joker gets it. But I it would be great for the NBA to recognize Dame.
That's the Joker's stats. I feel like should get it because he's putting up, 27, 11, 8.5. That's fucking ridiculous as a center. And he's a pure center. It's not like Giannis, who they play as center, but he's really like a wing.
Right.
That's just giant. But like you said, it'd be nice for the NBA to recognize Dame. I want to see it. He's so fucking good. We've talked about it a bunch. That team would be nowhere without him. He deserves it, but I would completely understand why Jokic got it, and I wouldn't be that upset.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess it's about time to do some puck talk, some hockey. So I got a few things I want to talk about. So the Flyers
on Birdie's Elaine Vigneault minute this week.
This isn't an Elaine Vigneault minute, but the Flyers saga continues. The Flyers have placed Shane Gostisbehere on waivers. He cleared waivers, and yeah, exactly. I don't really understand this move, guys, because their
I'll take
defense
him.
is a shit show. And I mean, he's not putting up, stellar numbers this year. He's got 5
I'll still
goals and
take him.
6 assists. Yeah, I mean, you guys need him, I guess. But especially if you're going to trade away players for Taylor fucking Hall. But I don't like, who are they going to replace him with? Like, to my knowledge, they don't really have any defensemen in their farm system really ready to replace him or even worth replacing him with. So I don't understand the move. I don't get like why they didn't try to trade him for an asset. They probably could have at least gotten a draft pick for him, and then you can maybe try to move that draft pick for another player. I don't know. Like, it just seems like not a smart move. It's not like the Tony DeAngelo situation where the guy is just like a complete liability on your team in the locker room, Like, I understand when you do that with someone in the who's toxic in your locker room, but the guy is not, I don't know. Maybe I don't, maybe he's not, maybe he is toxic in the locker room. I don't know, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
I believe they can still trade him if the waivers work the way they do in like baseball. They can put him on waivers, and as long as he clears, they can still trade him. It's if someone puts a claim on him. But the explanation I heard for that today was that it frees up cap room for them and their taxi squad.
The taxi squad. Yeah, that could make
sense. It is
sense
the same too, Mitch.
Yeah, it is the same. It could make sense to me. It's just like, to me, it's harder to, if you play somebody on waivers, it's probably harder to get something for them than if you don't. You know what I mean? Like, Tony DeAngelo's a perfect example. He puts up stellar numbers, and yes, he's toxic in the locker room, so it's not exactly a great example. But they couldn't really find a place for him once they put him on waivers, where if they'd have kept him, they might have found a team like interested. It's just like, if you put him on waivers, like, I feel like the team you're trying to sell him to is going to be like, well, if you don't want him, why do I want him? You know what I mean? Like, it's not a great selling point. But, the Flyers continue to do what they do.
I look at it a little differently. I look at it as more strategic.
Yeah, it probably is more strategic. It's just, what are you going to do? I don't see you having too many star defensemen coming up the ranks. But I could be wrong. I don't really follow their farm system all that much. So there may be someone in there really worth, bringing up. Let's see. Connor McDavid was fined $5,000 for elbowing Kotkaniemi. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was a vicious hit.
It was. I don't know if it was like wholly intentional. Like, it's hard to tell. Like, it's always with the Tom Wilson hit, it's clear it's just reckless abandon. And it looked like he was trying to, definitely take a run at him. But I don't know if he was trying to, like, straight, like, Muay Thai him, like, fucking Ong Bak him in the fucking skull the way he did.
It looked pretty intentional to me.
He was definitely trying to take a run at him. I'm not saying that. He was definitely running the guy. But, like, he, like, just clocked him with his elbow in his head. And, like, I don't know if he intended it to be, like, that blatant is really what I'm trying to say. But he was fined $5,000, which is obviously, the maximum fine you can get for it. And we'll see if he gets suspended. Yeah, he should be. I doubt he'll be suspended because he's Connor McDavid, but he should be suspended. The rule should apply to everyone. That's my personal opinion.
Marchand got in a fight yesterday. Fucked some dude up.
Yeah, that's Brad being Brad.
Brad?
God damn it, I hate Brad. Did you see the Ekblad injury update?
I did not.
Yeah, he's out for 12 weeks. Surgery for a left leg fracture.
That's a long time.
It is.
That's a long time.
So his leg was fractured. So that's a motherfucker. And when you watch that play, like we talked about on the last show, like, I don't even see how that happens. I mean, freak things happen, right? But, like, when I saw leg fracture, I was like, holy shit, how the fuck did that happen, man? Crazy as shit. And that's bad for the Panthers. So, RIP.
Yeah, they are expected to be active at the trade deadline, though. Everything I heard is that they are searching for not a replacement, because you can't really replace the best player.
No, they're looking for
team,
a loaner.
But someone to fill some kind of void.
Yeah, because they're going to make a push this year, so they're going to probably try to pick up a loaner or two to get them over the hump. Which, I hope they do, because it'd be nice to see the Florida Panthers make a deep run.
I mean, they look great this year.
They do. We'll see what happens when, like we've said 100 times, once you get to the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's anyone's game. So we'll see what happens. And really the last thing that I wanted to talk about is Eric's Buffalo traded away Eric Stahl for a third and a fifth round pick, which brings me to like kind of an interesting question. Do you think the Sabres are planning to like draft their way through a rebuild? Or do you think they're going to be more buyers? I think they're probably planning to draft their way through a rebuild.
Did you see they had to cut him to trade him?
No, I didn't see that.
Montreal was on his no trade list, or wherever he went to.
That's hilarious, because did you see what he said once he got traded there?
No, I didn't.
He was like, "Oh, I'm so excited to be a part of this team in this city. It's going to be great."
They were on his no trade list, so they had to like waive him or some shit. It was a weird thing they had to do to trade him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Buffalo might be either trying to draft their way through the first part of a rebuild, or they're just trying to amass picks and maybe trade those for assets. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, my guess is at the end of the season, like you've talked about before, they're probably just gonna unload everybody for picks and rebuild from the ground up. So
yeah, I think Eichel will be the last guy to go, but
probably
I think he's gonna go, and I don't think he's gonna go because the team wants him to go. I think he's gonna go because he wants to go. You know.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be there. And
yeah.
If that's the case, they might as well blow everything up, which is why I think they're going to start seeing them making these moves.
I mean, dude, if you've lost 18 in a row, you might as well blow everything up anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's not fucking working.
No, it's just
And if your
not.
star
the win
player
tonight,
you're trying
though.
to build around doesn't want to be there, then. Yeah, they did snap it. Like just
They got the win over the Flyers tonight.
You love to see it. Fuck you, Alain Vigneault.
Your boy.
You hate him so
Dude,
much.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. If he was
we can't
ever
do this
your
again.
coach,
We
you
cannot
would know.
talk about Alain Vigneault every week, dude. We can't do it.
I mean, I'm gonna do it as long as I want to do it. He's a
Alain
fucking, as
Vigneault.
Meech would say, he's a clown. He's a fucking clown.
Absolute
He's
fucking
fucking clown
clown.
shoes. All right, I don't really have anything else in hockey.
I do.
We could, yeah, exactly. I'm sure you do. So what's up?
So much like we do with the sort of the power rankings that we do, if you would buy or sell stock on them, we're going to do what teams are going to be buyers or sellers at the deadline. I've picked 6 teams, 3 from the East, 3 from the West.
This is going to be tough.
Start out easy. They're going to get progressively harder.
This is going to be tough regardless, because it's
That's
always
what
tough to
he
tell in
said.
the NHL. Nice, Meech. Boom. Way to go.
Bruins.
Bruins, they're going to be selling. Well, let me rephrase. They should
You're
be selling.
wrong.
They should
You're
be
wrong.
selling.
I'm gonna say they're gonna be buying.
No, they're going to be buying, but they should be selling is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
They should be.
Buy it up. Buy it all up. I'm down. Let's fucking go. Bring home a cup, boys.
You're going to trade away for a bunch of players who aren't in their prime. You may get 1 cup this year, and then you won't get another one for 20 years.
It'll be like 10.
What's the
It'll be
next
fine.
one? I'm not even going to continue this. What's the next one?
We've talked about them a few episodes ago. We all kind of came to a consensus about this topic, about this team, but I'm curious if it's changed. San Jose Sharks.
I mean,
Oh, they're gonna be sellers.
yeah, they've got to rebuild.
Yeah, that was our consensus there
Yeah,
earlier.
that's not going to change.
So I said they start easy, they're going to get a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Florida Panthers.
Buyers.
In the off season,
No, at the deadline.
at the deadline, yeah, they're going to be buying because they're trying to make a push.
Even with Ekblad hurt, do you think that changes things?
No, I think that
Yeah, I
that
think
makes
that
them
makes
be
them-
more
that
aggressive
That makes
in the
them
market.
buy more.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, because they've got to go out and at least get like 1 loaner to try and like fill that spot and make the push.
Right. Number 4, Nashville.
That's an interesting.
Yeah, that's a
This
really.
is what I said. They're going to get harder.
Do I think they'll? I don't know if.
You could also say they'll stay put.
I don't think they'll stay put. They have to do something.
Yeah,
I think they'll
yeah.
buy.
I think they'll probably do a combination of both, really, because they've got players that they need
So
to
right now-
offload. but you
They're
gotta bring
fourth
somebody
in
else
the
in.
Central, behind Tampa and Florida are tied with 50 points. Carolina has 49. The Predators are fourth with 39. They've also played more games than the 3 teams ahead of them.
Yeah. I think
And
they'll.
they're tied with Chicago.
Yeah, I think they'll buy. I think they'll probably end up buying, but I don't know if that's necessarily the right move for them. They've got some problems they got to
And-
work out, man.
We've talked about it before. The NHL playoffs are
Yeah.
anything can happen. It's not like the NBA.
You get a
or
hot goalie and you
things like
can go
that.
all the way.
Right. So it's the NHL is more like we just got to make it to the playoffs.
Yep.
We can start
Yep.
putting things together and make it to the playoffs. Anything can happen.
Yep.
Whereas in the NBA, like super teams are super teams.
What's the next team?
Reach anything on Elaine video. But
Jesus Christ, dude.
that's gonna be that with egregious and whatever the fuck the other one was. Those are all take a hit words.
Oh yeah.
Fifth on the list, we got the Vancouver Canucks.
They're selling for sure.
I mean, I think they will, but I don't think it will be that drastic. They've got issues, but they've also they're
So that Canadian division is still kind of open.
yeah, I don't know. They've got players that I'm fond of, so I personally would I would move a couple pieces, but I wouldn't go crazy. I wouldn't blow it up or anything. Because I think they have some good JT Miller is doing really well for them, but I think they're gonna sell a few pieces probably. Try to get some assets and make some moves. Sorry.
You're good. This last one I think is the most difficult because I could see it going either way. They've had success on the ice, but they've fired their coach. They've had some other things go wrong for them. It's the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, that is an incredibly tough call.
So they're fourth in their division right now. They're pretty much in the same situation Nashville's in. They're about 10 points back from the team ahead of them.
Yeah, I think I do think they're probably a little better than Nashville though.
I think they are too, but they did, like I said, they had to get a new coach.
Yeah,
Carey Price is not reliable.
No, he's not.
I don't know.
And they're locked into that forever.
Forever.
I think because I think this is one of those seasons where it just didn't go their way really. I mean, we've kind of jokingly said this before, but puck luck is a part of the game, and if that doesn't go your way, it can have disastrous consequences for your season. But I don't know. I'm going to guess that they're probably going to be buying a little bit more than they are selling. But yeah, that's a tough one to call.
They're going to stay. I think they're going to stay and then just see if they can make it work. I think the Preds are going to be active and try and buy because I think they want to please that fan base. So I think there is going to take they're going to do that thing where they're going to hold on for a little bit too longer, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I just
too long.
I think that they will pick up some maybe one more player, and see if they can address some of their issues. But yeah, that's a hard one to call because it also depends on what happens with this market. This fucking trade market this year is weird for the NHL, man. Because I feel like a lot of the teams are just going to stay put and they'll pick up players on waivers. There'll maybe be some free agency moves, but I don't think there'll be a whole lot of blockbuster trading outside of Jack Eichel and maybe Taylor Hall.
Well, also you have the supplemental draft coming up.
Yeah.
So we'll see because I saw today that Seattle's already affecting the trade deadline, even though they don't have any players to trade.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it will be interesting to see what happens there because they use the example of the Knights and Fleury. They had a deal in place to send him there, even though you technically can't. So I heard that Seattle is impacting the trade market because teams are hesitant to get rid of someone and then have someone drafted off their team shortly thereafter.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, an expansion draft is always going to affect the trade market because, like, if you trade away one piece, then, you know, you may have to leave another player you didn't want to leave unprotected, and he could be gone from your team. So you kind of want to hold on to all your pieces so you can, you know, hang something out to dry and not lose any of your really important pieces. So, yeah, we'll see. And I'm excited to see how the Kraken do their first year out because the Knights did pretty damn good their first year out. So it's going to be.
They've been they're still at the top of that division right now.
They're
like,
great.
they're just.
Yeah, they're a pretty complete team. They've got a few holes, you know, like looking at you, Nick Holden. But, you know, other than that, they're a pretty complete team. And the Kraken jersey is so dope. Like, it's so dope.
The Sharks are my second team. I don't have a third team. I was late on the Knights, so we are adopting the Kraken as my third team.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, that logo.
Not like I give a shit, but it's just like if we don't make the playoffs,
third team. Yeah.
Yeah.
That logo, too. That logo is awesome,
Who has
man.
3 teams?
Yeah, right.
It's not like I get. It's
loaded
not
up.
like I give a shit. It's just teams that aren't mine that I like.
I only really got one. You know,
So pretty much hate everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there another team I root? I guess the Avalanche. Like, I'm behind now, but it's not like I always have been. You know,
I'm high on them. They're good, but it's not like I root for them.
Yeah, I mean, I hate pretty much everybody else. I don't,
especially any team Lane Vigneault coaches.
Oh my god, fucking, he's a clown.
Take a hit.
Fucking clown shoes. Dude is a clown.
Okay, let's move on from that now. Because
we can go into some football.
Yeah, let's get into some football.
I don't know if we talked about it last show. It was in the works, but it became official. 17 game schedule for next season and moving forward.
Yeah, I thought that was happening this year for some reason, this past season for some reason, and then I realized like halfway through the season, I was like, oh no, it's next time.
Yeah.
So that is official. With that, I have 3 records that are in danger of being broken real soon, and a candidate to do each of them. Peyton Manning's passing yard record, 5,477. It would only take 322 passing yards a game, which has been done 8 times in league history. Pat Mahomes came real close a couple of years ago. Another game, he for sure could have gotten it. So, candidate to break that one.
I mean, I feel like anything in the passing market is just gone. There's more offense in the game than ever. And even though Peyton Manning and Breeze, all those guys, it's just going to there's just going to be more offense.
Yep. For sure. Let's move that way too. We've talked about that before as well. Rushing record, Eric Dickerson, 2,105. Henry and AP have come close. A prime Derrick Henry for 17 games breaks that record. No injuries, shit like that. I think Derrick Henry could break that.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think he needed
he was close.
250 yards in his last game.
Like 170 or something.
No, he hit the 2,000 yards this year. He got enough to hit it.
Oh yeah, right.
But that's what I'm saying. He needed like 250 and he got it, or some ridiculous. It was some stupid number. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that one's gonna happen or not. It just depends. You really only have 1 or 2 candidates, because with that it's not the same. I feel like with that it's a little bit different. We see people platooning running backs.
There's a lot of 2-headed, 3-headed attacks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, even like Jonathan Taylor, we all expected to get the lion's share, and he did late in the year, but really most of the year he was switched out with Nyheim Hines.
Colts.
What?
You said Lions.
He said the lion's share.
Colts. I said lion's share. Yeah, he's got the lion's share.
Yeah, like the majority of.
That.
Thank you, Birdie.
Yeah, I got you, dog. I got you.
Went over my head.
Yeah, so I mean, it's so rare. There's only 1 or 2 people a year that could do it, and it's hard. So that one's definitely safer.
It's hard. It's hard as fuck.
It's hard.
Hard as
the last
fuck.
one. The last one I got here, the sacks record by Michael Strahan, 22.5. 22 has been achieved twice in the last decade. Meech, do you know who did it?
In the last decade.
Yep. So 2011 and 2021.
I'm guessing a giant lineman at some point. So
Nope.
like OC. No, really. What's the
One
number?
from the NFC and one from the AFC. It was 20 sacks in the season. 22 sacks in the season.
Donald hit it, didn't he?
Nope. 20.5.
Oh my god.
You have one more guess.
No. Was it a San Francisco lineman?
It was not.
Damn it.
Jared Allen and Justin
Vikings?
Houston. Vikings.
Ooh.
Jared Allen in 2011 had 22 sacks, and Justin Houston in 2015. Might be wrong. 2015, I think. And 20.5 Donald had, and JJ Watt had it in 2016. So I
Okay.
think Donald could break that record with an extra game. I mean, that guy is a fucking freak.
Yeah, and for the most part, he's healthy. I mean, we saw him get injured in the playoffs last year. He was a shell of himself in that game, and it really did affect the conclusion of that game. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty. As long as he can stay healthy, that one, because of the amount of passing yards that are being put up, that one has a chance to be shattered. I mean, essentially.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, especially when you have, like, I thought either the 49ers from the last couple of years or one of those Giants would have put up that many sacks
Like
as well.
Pierre
because-
Paul, Umanora, Alden Smith. That's what you were thinking.
Or Strahan, yeah. I mean, they at one point, I think, had OC, Strahan, and Tuck,
They sure did.
and JPP. At some point, they had four of those guys at one point together.
A year I like to forget. Fucking David
Yeah, so-
Tyree. All right. So with that, those are the three records I think that are in danger of being broken.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett signed an extension that was 4 years, $67 million, if I'm not mistaken. So a big re-signing for Seattle, trying to get Russ's weapons back.
69 million.
69 million.
They
Nice.
also re-signed the guard they just traded for, Gabe Jackson from the Raiders. They extended him as well, 3 years, 22.5 million. So they procured an offensive lineman that Russ complained about, and then they re-signed him. So that and Tyler Lockett, they're putting out money.
Hey Russ, you don't need to go anywhere. We're working on it. Get your targets back. Get some line going. We'll be fine. Good for Seattle.
Till he walks
Next
next
up.
year.
Yeah, exactly. With that, we can move into some notable free agents. Some players still on the market. Alex Smith, Le'Veon Bell, Adrian Peterson, James Conner.
Is Adrian Peterson? I thought Adrian Peterson was on a roster.
He is currently a free agent.
Really?
Really.
Why did I think he re-signed with the Lions? No, he is a free agent. For some reason, I thought some team picked him up. Okay.
Larry Fitz. AP
Yeah.
Larry Fitz could be guys heading towards retirement. Alex Smith too. Antonio
I
Brown.
think Alex Smith could help a team.
I think he could still be good, decent.
Like,
Like,
I
even
thought
as
he
a
would have been
backup or
perfect for you
something?
guys. I mean, he could start. He wins. He's why
Well, I
the
know.
Reds.
I'm saying at the very least he could be a back. Like,
Right. He's why the Washington football team won this year.
yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Whoa!
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
I meant in the middle.
Oh, did you guys get the notification just now too?
Steve Cohen said, "Can you meet me halfway?"
So
Cue
they
the
agreed
Black
to
Eyed
the
Peas
10-year
this
deal.
10-year,
341 million.
341. So they came up, which is fair.
Yeah.
I think that's a good contract. I think 12 years is getting a little hairy.
Yeah.
He will be 36 when he ends. That's not horrible.
Yeah,
You
I
shouldn't
mean-
get saddled with too many of those Pujols years, I feel like.
It's a good compromise, all around. So, hey, let's go.
Jeff Passan on the breaking news.
Sorry, Dubs, to interrupt your football spiel there.
No, you're good. That's big news.
It is big news, so we'll
Big
see how it
news.
works out. We'll see how it works out over the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, everything you hear about him he's supposed to be the real deal. His numbers are not as good as I would want them to be for someone who's getting that much money, but
Right.
I wouldn't have given Tatis Jr. that much money either. So I think Trout deserves his deal. I think Betts deserves his deal. I don't think Harper deserves that money either. So like it's a good deal because they need to do it. I think. I
Right,
think they are
exactly.
tired of just not spending that kind of money. You have an owner that's willing to do it, and you have a fan base clamoring for it. And like I said, everything you hear, he's an elite defensive player. We'll see how long that lasts. I mean, you don't see too
Right.
many older shortstops. They usually convert to third at some point, but we will see. We'll see what happens with
Yeah.
that huge shortstop free agent market coming this year, though. And so maybe he looked at that and didn't want to compete, wanted the money
Maybe
now.
so. Maybe so. I think you also make a good point in saying like they needed to do it. I think it's like what's the right way to say it? I guess I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but it's the best way I can come up with in my ADHD addled brain. Like it sends a message. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like the proof is
Right, you're
I
setting
get
a
what you're
precedent
saying.
that if you
Exactly.
They're
do
Setting
trying to
things the
change
right way,
culture.
right?
Yeah.
That was a mess. We all just talked over each other for like
Yeah.
2 seconds. It was great. But they're trying to change the culture, and they got a player that's setting the precedent that this is what they're doing now, and trying to attract these big name free agents and trying to compete. And they've locked up a player that so far in his career has been a star player in the leagues, and they've locked him up for the next decade. So
Yeah.
good for the Mets. Good for you guys, Birdie.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
I feel like once you get him in your building, you have a front row seat to see how he works, how he treats other people, how he acts in the community. Like once he's in your building, you have that evaluation. You don't have to guess what they are at the trade deadline. You don't have how he's going to be. And so I think that's a huge part too. They set a precedent here, and if the Mets start spending money, that division is heating up. That division is becoming
NL East is
pretty
heating
decent.
up. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think before this, they had the second most spent money. This might push them to first.
Yeah, it might. The Braves,
'Cause
the Phillies, the Mets, the Nats, even the
Yeah,
Marlins made
aren't
the
spending
playoffs.
money, but
No, but I'm just saying, like, good teams, like even the Marlins made the playoffs last year. Like, that division's fucking good.
yeah, I mean, I think they're going to take a step back.
Yeah, they are.
I think they'll get exposed with their lack of pitching depth this year in a regular season. But
I think
as
even their
we've talked
lineup
about,
depth.
what?
I think even their lineup depth.
We got
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
We
I
got
mean, just
one.
overall depth of the. I've been trying not to do it.
I know. But we got one.
Baseball
It
Part
makes me-
2.
It makes me so happy.
Yeah, but you do have the Phillies who have spent a lot of money, plus Dombrowski's there now, so he's going to spend more. And then
does.
The Braves have a great farm system, great young talent, and now you have the Mets have a couple decent pieces, and that pitching staff is still dominant. Like they have never had a problem with that pitching staff.
All right,
So,
well, we shall see. Let's get her back on track. Baseball Part 2 was fun, but let's get back to football, boys.
Yeah, we'll go through the last bit of notable free agents here. Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher, the Chiefs linemen, still available. A couple more linemen still available. Alejandro Villanueva and Jason Peters, Meech's boy, longtime Eagle, still available. Geno Atkins, guy me and Meech thought was going to get swept up right away. He is still out there, along with pass rushers Jadeveon Clowney and Melvin Ingram, and two big-time secondary names, Richard Sherman and Casey Hayward from the Chargers. He got the franchise tag last year, ended up not having a great season, went to free agency, and is still out there.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if teams are just waiting and doing their research on the draft and dedicating all resources to that, which is why these guys aren't signed. But we know how football works. It's always next man up, and these guys are going to get signed at some point because they're all decent names. Mitchell Schwartz and the other Chiefs lineman, Eric Fisher, there we go, aren't even going to be back to start the season, which is one of the reasons they got cut. So they're not getting picked up probably anytime soon. But the healthy guys will probably get another look after each team drafts and then assesses what they got in the draft with what they need still.
Oh, sure.
All right. Any other football stuff?
I think that can do it. We can move into the Elite Eight.
Let's
2 games that we didn't touch on last show.
Oh, you know what? Wait, no, I'll save that for later. We got a return of something coming. Go ahead.
Do we?
Yeah, you'll see.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, shit. All right. So we went over Oregon State and Houston and Arkansas versus Baylor. 2 games we didn't touch on were Michigan and UCLA. And then Gonzaga versus USC. Gonzaga picked up the win over USC 85-66. We were correct with that one, boys. Gonzaga, perfect season continues. They advance to the Final Four once again.
Yeah, and they just look dominant.
They're so good, dude. Every year I'm wrong on Gonzaga. I call them frauds every single year. I have a friend that he always calls Villanova frauds, and he's always wrong on Villanova. I'm always wrong on Gonzaga. Michigan lost to UCLA. Mick Cronin and UCLA, the 11th seed, will advance to the Final Four. 51-49 was the score in that one. Juwan Howard and the Wolverines had a great season, but it will end in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, and that was a close game. It's weird that Minnesota, Michigan,
Golden Gophers.
You would just be able to pull that out. Michigan missed their last 8 shots, which is just crazy when they lost that game by 2. They lost the game by 2. So it was kind of crazy, the drought that we saw at the end of that game. But
nobody could score on either side.
Yeah.
But that will bring us to the Final Four. We've got Gonzaga versus UCLA. Who we taking, boys?
Oh, bro, you missed it. You know what this is, right?
The preview.
That's right, Beach. It's back. The preview.
Time for the Final Four preview.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Gonzaga versus Michigan. Who we got, boys? Not Michigan, sorry. Gonzaga versus UCLA.
Okay, I was going to say, that's a tough question. Yeah,
Gonzaga's got to take them. UCLA is just eking in these wins, and as good of a coaching job as Mick Cronin's done, I just think Gonzaga's a step above.
I think we're destined for Gonzaga Baylor. I'm also going with Gonzaga here, and I'm going with Baylor in the next game against Houston.
I agree.
These 2 teams have been really the 2 teams everyone's talked about all season long. Gonzaga's going for the perfect season. Baylor's got so much depth.
Although I will say,
really good.
Houston will slow them down, and Houston has been a tough play every time.
You cannot overlook Houston.
Absolutely not. I've been pretty impressed with them. I feel like a lot of people are shitting all over the Final Four, and I just don't really get it. I mean, UCLA is kind of lucky to be there, I guess. If Michigan could shoot the ball at all, they would be there instead, even without Livers. But I mean, you get Baylor versus Houston, which should be a great game. I mean, both of those teams look fantastic, and Gonzaga, I think, will win by a lot, but UCLA is keeping games close. So we'll see if Gonzaga gets tripped up by Mick Cronin's defense, and if that's a closer game. But I am excited for the Final Four and then the championship game, because you're going to have good storylines coming into it. And I just don't feel like it's warranted that the criticism that the Final Four is taking this year, especially when 2 of them have been, like you said, talked about the whole season. I mean, Baylor and Gonzaga.
Gonzaga's going for a perfect season, and people are bitching about the Final Four.
Yeah, and,
Like,
and
you're
Baylor
not
has
thinking
looked
it'll be
impressive
history.
the whole year.
Right.
So I mean, they had a little bit of I think they lost 4 games at the end of the year, but other than that, they looked impressive the whole time. So I feel like this is going to be an exciting matchups.
So Baylor versus Houston. I got Baylor. Like we said, we cannot overlook the Houston Cougars, but I've got Baylor going to the Final Four to face Gonzaga in what should be the game of the year. I
You
hope
mean
Yeah.
the
it doesn't
championship
flop.
game?
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree.
Because
Sorry,
they're already
championship
in the
game.
Final Four.
I concur.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Gonzaga versus Baylor, and that should be a fun game too if it happens. And even say, I really don't think UCLA's gonna pull out the victory versus Zaga, but even Baylor versus Houston would be an entertaining matchup. I feel like I don't know. I don't get the criticism this year. I've been more into it this year than I ever have been. So I don't know.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Oral Roberts.
Yeah. Resting in peace, bro.
I miss them.
All right. Well, anything else you boys want to talk about?
I think that should
Negatory.
about wrap it up.
All right, then. Thanks for listening to this episode. We appreciate it. Follow us on all the socials. It's Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. It's all Stone Sports Podcast. We're out of here, boys. Say goodbye.
Oh, also now on Apple. I mean, we mentioned it at the beginning of the show too,
Yeah.
but just really want to reiterate that we are now available on another platform.
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely. All right, say goodbye, boys.
Peace.
Lighters.